How dare you speak to me like that?
Ma'am, let go of me.
I'll do more than that if you don't get out of my way.
Not tonight. Not here. You're not striking me.
Ma'am, please step back. The officer's voice was calm. Too calm for what came next. Cameras flashed, voices gasped, and then the slap. A sound so sharp it froze everyone in place. Her designer ring left a mark, but it was her arrogance that left the scar. For years, no one dared to question her power. But that day, her downfall began, because the truth didn't just witness the moment. It recorded it. This is the story of a woman who thought wealth made her untouchable. Until justice caught up with her. Welcome, story lovers. From where are you watching? Hit the like button and drop your city name in the comments so we can see how far our story travels. It was one of those mornings when the city gleamed with perfection. Spotless streets, tinted luxury cars gliding past, and gates that guarded quiet privilege. Inside one of those mansions stood Claudia Mercer, the kind of woman people noticed before she even spoke. The wife of real estate magnate Edward Mercer, she lived a life defined by control over her image, her staff, and even the silence of those who served her. Her beauty was polished, her smile rehearsed, and her world built on the belief that money excused everything. Neighbors whispered that Claudia's charity galas were more about power than kindness. Behind the shimmering lights and perfect photos, she treated waiters like furniture and guards like obstacles. But no one dared to challenge her. When Claudia entered a room, even those who despised her adjusted their tone. It wasn't respect. It was fear disguised as courtesy. That morning, as Edward prepared to leave for a business trip, Claudia was already barking orders at her driver, complaining about the unprofessional security patrol blocking the driveway. Outside the gates, a young black officer, Officer Daniel Brooks, was managing a minor traffic issue nearby. Calm, professional, and proud of his work, Daniel believed in serving the community, even those who looked at him like he didn't belong in their neighborhood. When Claudia's car approached, the air seemed to change. Her driver hesitated, unsure whether to wait or push through. She rolled down the window, impatience painted across her face. "Move him," she ordered coldly. Daniel, unaware of the storm he was about to face, lifted a hand to signal patience, a gesture meant for safety, not defiance. But in Claudia's world, any delay felt like disrespect. What happened next would shatter more than her illusion of power. It would expose the truth money could no longer hide. The morning sun reflected off the Mercer Estate's iron gates as officer. Daniel Brooks stood calmly near the corner, managing a minor fender bender. He had seen tension before, in voices, in stares, but never expected it here, in the quiet wealth of Crestwood Heights. His badge caught the light. His posture was steady, respectful, and measured. Yet from the moment Claudia Mercer's luxury sedan rolled toward him, he sensed trouble. The driver stopped just short of Daniel's patrol car, clearly uncomfortable. Claudia's tinted window lowered halfway, her sunglasses glinting like armor. "Why are you blocking my exit?" she asked sharply. Her tone wasn't curious, it was commanding. Daniel turned, offering a polite nod. "Ma'am, there's a small accident just ahead. I'll clear the road in 2 minutes. 2 minutes, a simple request." But to Claudia, it was an insult. Her lips tightened. "Do you know who I am?" she snapped. "I don't wait. Not for anyone." Her driver shifted nervously, eyes darting to the rearview mirror where Edward Mercer's car had just pulled up behind them. Edward watched quietly, his phone angled low, recording what he had long feared, that his wife's cruelty was no longer hidden behind closed doors. Daniel, still calm, gestured again for patience. "Safety comes first, ma'am." Those words set her off. She threw open the door, heels striking the pavement. The sound echoed, sharp, rhythmic, filled with fury. "You people think you can tell me what to do?" she hissed. The other officers nearby paused, uneasy. Drivers watched through their windshields as their phones slowly lifted. Edward remained silent. His recording captured every second, her posture, her glare, her words dripping with entitlement. Claudia stepped closer, invading Daniel's space. "Move! My car. Each word landed like a slap before her hand ever did. Daniel didn't respond. He simply held his ground, calm but firm, a professional doing his duty. The restraint in his voice only enraged her more. "Don't look at me like that," she snapped, her voice trembling not from fear, but outrage that someone wouldn't bow to her status. Then, without warning, her palm struck his face. A sound so sharp it silenced everything. The hum of engines, the chatter of onlookers, even the wind seemed to stop. Daniel's body stiffened. He didn't move, didn't retaliate. He just breathed, slow, deliberate. As shock and humiliation rippled through the crowd, Edward's phone kept recording. The bystanders gasped. One whispered, "Did she just—" Another murmured, "That's a police officer." For the first time, Claudia realized the eyes around her weren't admiring. They were judging. Phones pointed her way. Whispers turned into disbelief. And somewhere inside, a flicker of fear appeared behind her anger. Daniel's voice finally broke the silence. Calm, controlled, unshaken. "Ma'am, I'm placing you under arrest for assaulting a police officer." The world around her blurred. Her driver froze. Edward lowered his phone slowly, his expression unreadable. In that instant, the power she thought she owned began to crumble. Not because of the slap itself, but because the truth was finally on record. The sound of those words, "You're under arrest," tore through the still morning like a siren. Claudia froze, disbelief painted across her face. Cameras from nearby cars were rolling now, every movement, every expression captured in perfect clarity. For the first time in her life, her voice failed her. She tried to laugh it off, a hollow, trembling sound. "You can't be serious," she said, but her confidence cracked under the weight of Daniel's unwavering calm. He wasn't shouting. He wasn't angry. He was simply doing his job, and that terrified her more than rage ever could. When he reached for his radio, her driver instinctively stepped back. Edward stood by his car, phone still raised, recording the moment he knew would change everything. The wife who had humiliated maids, guards, and waiters now stood speechless before the law she had always thought beneath her. Her eyes darted toward her husband. "Edward, do something!" she cried. But he didn't move. His silence was louder than any accusation. The patrol backup arrived within minutes. The same gates that once opened for her now loomed behind like a barrier she could never cross again. Daniel read her rights with steady precision. Each word felt like a mirror, reflecting not just her crime, but her entire life built on arrogance. And as cameras clicked and voices whispered, Claudia realized the truth. She wasn't untouchable anymore. "Dear audience, where are you watching from? Drop your city name in the comments." The video spread faster than wildfire. By nightfall, the slap that once echoed in silence was now echoing across millions of screens. News channels replayed the footage, social media erupted, and Claudia Mercer, once the queen of Crestwood Heights, became the face of public outrage. Her name, her image, her power, all unraveling with every share and every comment. Officer Daniel Brooks, meanwhile, sat quietly in his modest apartment, still in uniform. He hadn't spoken to reporters or posted online. For him, it wasn't about revenge or fame. It was about dignity, the kind too often stolen from those who wear his skin color and badge at the same time. He didn't strike back, because he knew the world was finally watching. And this time, it was her actions, not his, under the spotlight. Edward released the full video to the authorities himself. It was his silent confession that money had built their world, but truth had finally leveled it. The charges against Claudia were swift and public. The same luxury car she once commanded was now towed as evidence. In court, her eyes no longer carried arrogance, just disbelief that the same society she once ruled now demanded accountability. And while the story faded from headlines weeks later, its echo remained. Power without empathy will always collapse under its own weight. How many more truths must be recorded before people start listening? Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more powerful stories and real-life reflections.